You being at a disadvantage is just the advantage I intend to keep. Hateful Eight is the 8th movie from Quentin Tarantino and stars Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, and is directed by Quentin Tarantino. Guys, first off, let me just say I am a massive Quentin Tarantino fan. He is easily in my top 3 favorite directors. I love his movies. And Hateful Eight is about these different characters. They come from different walks of life and they end up meeting in this saloon called Minnie's Haberdashery. And that is where most of this movie takes place. And when you strip away everything, this movie really is a whodunit because these characters are not the best people. They're outlaws. This is set in the 1800s. And when you put a group of outlaws in a room together, somebody's probably going to get hurt. And of course, somebody does get hurt or killed. And the rest of the movie, you're trying to figure out who is the guilty culprit. Now, Hateful Eight is a very divisive movie because there's action in this movie, but there's very little action. It's mostly a dialogue piece. And to make things worse, it's a long movie. It's almost 3 hours long. And just to put things into perspective, when I left the theater, I was the only person in the car that actually really liked this movie. Is it my favorite Tarantino movie? No, it's not. But it's not the worst either. But let me tell you what I liked about Hateful Eight. First off, I love the characters in this movie, specifically Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell. I've always been a Kurt Russell fan. Escape from New York is such a classic. It's one of my favorite movies. The guy just has such a swagger to him. He's so charismatic and he really just eats up the screen. And the movie starts off with his character. He's a bounty hunter and he's collecting a bounty for Jennifer Jason Leigh's character. And there are so many funny scenes with him and her. Because everybody else in the movie is like, why don't you just kill her? You can still collect the bounty. But for some reason, he won't kill her. But he gives her a black eye, he beats her up. But it's directed in a very comedic way. Also, Samuel L. Jackson is just great in this movie. Especially during one scene that I can see a lot of people finding very controversial. But like that scene in Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson says, "And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger." There is a scene similar to that in this movie. I mean, he doesn't have the same cadence, but he has a monologue that is just insane. Also, Quentin Tarantino's direction. The guy is such a master at dialogue, at taking a scene that is just completely filled with 3-4 pages of dialogue and making it work. Most directors would have a really tough time with a scene like that and making it interesting, but Tarantino really just knows how to direct actors, to pull great performances out of these actors. And let me just say, every actor in this movie does a phenomenal job. But the dialogue is just so witty, funny, intense. I mean, it covers the whole gamut. Also got to mention the score in this movie. Like most of Tarantino's movies, this has such a great score. At times, it actually feels like a 70s film. What's so great about Tarantino is that you can never guess what type of music he's going to use in a film. You can look at a scene and you could think, oh, I can totally see this type of music playing. And Tarantino will take the exact opposite type of music, and for some reason, it'll still work. Now, I said earlier, this isn't my favorite Tarantino film. I really think it could have been cut down about a good 30 minutes, and it would have been a great movie. But there are times when you do get kind of bored. It is a long movie, and especially since all the characters are in one location for most of this movie. And if you're not a diehard Tarantino fan, then you might not like this, you might even hate it. But because I am a massive Tarantino fan, I'm gonna give it a purchase worthy. I'll definitely be adding it to my Tarantino collection. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on The Hateful Eight? Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Humdrum out.